Two, one. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Jacob and Jacob podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Pear, as always, joined by my wonderful co-host, Jacob Obum, and we're excited to be back after a little pause. And today we have a very special guest because we're interviewing Executive Vice President of Football Operations for the Houston Texans, Jack Easterby. Jack, thank you so much for joining us today.
Jacob and Jacob, glad to be on, man. Appreciate you guys. Which one is the upper hand, Jacob? Should we ask that to start?
I don't know. I think it's a joint group. I'd say 50-50. We're both working hard.
So what about okay, so free throw shooting contest, which Jacob wins?
Oh, absolutely me. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so we're putting, we're making a 5-footer. Who makes it?
I don't know. We were playing golf once, and he's chipping onto the green, and I'm off to the side of the green, and he shanked it right off my leg.
Oh.
So I think that tells us who's knocking down that putt.
Okay, so who's throwing a football the furthest?
Probably him. At lunch recess, back in the day, he used to throw dimes to everyone out on the field.
All right, what about throwing a strike? So one of you guys is going over to the Phillies stadium, and you're going to throw a strike. Who's throwing the strike?
We did do the contest last year where you try to get like how fast you can throw into the catcher's mitt at like the kids part of the arena. I think we both failed miserably, but we had a good time.
Neither of us are baseball players anymore, so.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all for having me on. I'm excited. I've read a little bit about what you guys do, and it sounds like you both are innovative and you're up to some cool stuff. And it sounds like you've got some traction here last couple of years doing what you love.
Thank you. So let's start the interview because you have a fascinating career path, and we had to have you on after reading about you and hearing about you in the news. You went from a team chaplain to basically running an NFL team. So how were you able to move up the ranks during your career and ultimately end up as the Executive Vice President of Football Operations for the Texans?
Well, I think, you graduating from college, you really never know what you're going to do, right? You just kind of try to find something that you feel like you're interested in, and then an opportunity hopefully to serve, whether it's an organization or a team. When you love sports, you're obviously always excited to be a part of a team. You want to be a part of a team and find a role to help that team get better. And so my career path, you're right, it is unique, and I've always tried to own that because I feel like for me, each step along the way has just been an opportunity to serve different teams, different people, different ways. And so coming out of school, had an opportunity at University of South Carolina, which was very unique, to serve the athletic department there in several different ways. And through people I met there, that led me to Kansas City. And then through people I met in Kansas City, that led me to New England. And then the people I met in New England led me to Houston. So I think it's more of a story of people, right? And trying to serve the people you're with and getting to know those people well, and hopefully doing right by them and adding value to the organization you're working for and working alongside. And as you add value and as you serve, people continue to give you roles. So that's my encouragement as you guys keep growing and doing what you're doing. Just try to find value, add value. Find a role that will hopefully help you make a team better, whether it's high school or it's college or it's in the NFL. You always just try to add value to the people around you. And when you do that, I think they like to keep you.
So I want to ask you about your current role with the Houston Texans. Can you go into a little bit about what you do on a daily basis during the season and now during the off season as well?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, obviously within an NFL organization, there's tons of different, roles and things that are given. We're organized in a very unique way. Nick Casario, who's our general manager, does an awesome job with our roster and our football operation in relationship to specific roster transactions, building our team, our personnel, and then our football performance on the field. And then what I try to do is serve the rest of the building through organized in what we call the sub programs, which is all of the sports performance team and the onboarding efforts of our team, and then also all the logistical components and the data and technology components that really support the team. So it's a support role that really hopefully drives the innovation and hopefully the efficiency of the operation to give the coaches and the players and the general manager what they need to be able to do their job well.
So on a game day, could I see you in the locker room, giving pep talks to players, hyping them up before the game. What's your role on game day for the Texans?
So on game day, not too many hype up talks. I mean, I'm a high five guy. So when you're playing, when you're playing a game, you only get to play once a week, right? So, I love high fiving guys and celebrating with them. It's obviously a passionate game, and so I love to be a part of, whether it's pregame or post game, trying to celebrate with guys when they're doing well and executing their gifts and what their jobs are. But no, I try to stay out of the way and make sure our operation is efficient, whether that's sideline stuff or halftime stuff or just helping the overall operation. So our goal really during game days to serve and, again, make sure the operation runs as smooth as possible.
Now, I want to ask you, currently you're working in the front office, the Texans, obviously, as we've mentioned, but was that always something that you wanted to do, or did you have a different career path in mind?
Well, like I said earlier, I think for me, I don't know if I had a specific destination in mind. I know sometimes, when you graduate college or high school, sometimes you have certain things you like. And for me, I've always loved being a part of a team. I was blessed to play different sports growing up. And for me, I just love van rides. I love bus rides. I love the travel part of being with teams, getting to know people, obviously going into battle together. I've always loved that. And so for me, each step along the way in my career was just an opportunity to be a part of a different team and to add value to that team. And so, no, I wouldn't say I necessarily drew up specifically where we are right now, but I think, always wanting to add more value as best you can. And then as you get better skills, and hopefully you get better at what they're asking you to do, they give you more responsibility. So, no, I wouldn't say it was a forever, one spot, one, track mind as far as where I was going, but just trying to continually be a part of sports and teams and do right by the organizations that employed me or universities till I got here.
So, I mean, you work with the Texans now, but before that, you were with the Patriots. And in the process, I guess, of switching jobs, you had other suitors that wanted you to come to their team. So what made you pick Houston?
Yeah, I mean, the experience in New England was awesome. Coach Belichick is the best ever, and his leadership, I learned so much, pages and pages of notes, every day on different things that, he taught me and poured into me and challenged me. He grew me in so many ways, and so many people there, that were just great humans that I learned from. Was just a really cool experience to take away a lot of different things from that. And then, leaving New England, just, my wife and I, as we always do, try to pray through the different opportunities that we're given. And if we have something we think fits the skill set, and just really believed in ownership in Houston, what they're about, who they are, their passion for the Houston community, their passion to win and to get the football operation up to a championship standard. Really believe in that. And so was blessed by those visits and the time that I had to spend with the McNairs specifically. And that's boded true. It's exactly what happened. And, just got to continue to do the work that it takes to get us there. But yeah, really the people. I always come back to people. Jacob, I appreciate you asking that, but I always come back to my feel for people and whether or not the people that you're with and how you're navigating things align with everything that you feel that it's going to take and what you're about. And we definitely have that here in Houston.
I want to follow up with on the Texans website, it says that you direct the overall culture of the organization. What do you believe needs to be the culture of an organization in order to have success, whether it be on the field or off the field?
Well, gosh, I don't think the Zoom has enough time to answer the complete question of everything that has to go on in the entire organization. But culture is really about action. It's really about a group of people acting in a similar fashion that creates a predictability and a trust. Culture is so much about trust, and there's really two types of trust of transparency, right, and trust of competency. And when you can have a group of people that are transparent with one another and are competent in what they're doing, you can really have a culture that can be, successful. And so for us, I think it's all about continuing to grow an environment that's efficient, that's effective in relationship to our workflow, and also in relationship to the people that we bring in the building, trying to make the best decisions we can on great people. So when you have a great workflow and great people, it's very likely you're going to have great culture. So culture is obviously a buzzword that a lot of people use, but I really think culture is about action. And that's bringing people in the building, that's caring for them, that's telling them the truth, and then walking the road with them as you try to go forward in a common goal.
Mhm. So, I mean, we talked about it earlier before we started the Zoom that we're Philadelphians, we're huge Eagles fans, and we listen to the radio every morning, 97.5, 94.1, either they're bashing Ben Simmons, Carson Wentz. But as a guy who works in a front office, I'm sure the radio stations in Houston there's a lot of chatter on them. So how do you tune out that chatter from the radio stations, the media, and just everything else to be focused on your goal with the Texans?
Well, it's funny you say that, because I think it's one of the blessings of being in these positions, right? Is people care. They care so much. So I've always said, anything that's put out there or potentially said in our building or potentially outside of our building, I always say it's dressed up care, right? It's different. It may appear different, sound different, but what a blessing it is to have an opportunity to have a job where people care so much, right? And I would say in our building, I've been really blessed over the last 12 months specifically with some of the people that we've been able to build systems and processes with that really you can just tell they care. And I think externally, when people really care and speak to how important it is to get it right, I think and how much the Houston fan base cares that we get it right. I think those are just affirmations of that, the passion and the energy that go on in the public eye to try to affirm the fact they care we get it right. And so I would just say, overall, it's just an affirmation that it matters. Everything we do and say matters. Every structure that we put together, every format, every player we bring in, every staff member, it all matters. And so, I've always said those exciting moments or those things that are said and done publicly are just affirmations that people really care about what we're doing. And obviously they're paying attention.
Now, Jack, we know you're a busy man. We know you've got places to be, and we really appreciate you coming on today and taking time out of your busy schedule. Before we let you go, we have one last question for you, and we wanted to ask if you could talk about your foundation a little bit, the Greatest Champion Foundation.
Oh, thank you so much for asking, man. I appreciate you saying that. We've been blessed, my family and I, but going back to 2011, we built a nonprofit called the Greatest Champion Foundation. And our goal is always do camps, clinics, scholarships, and donate resources to mainly sports-related, sports ethics and ministry-related initiatives that help go forward with the gospel of Jesus Christ towards different organizations. My faith has been the cornerstone at who I am, and the same is true for my family. And so we've been blessed to give scholarships to athletes potentially who didn't have parents or maybe potentially needed some help to go to school and to pursue an athletic dream. We've been blessed to put camps on South and North Carolina and here in Texas. We've been blessed to do baseball initiatives where we've had clinics by Major League Baseball players, and been blessed to do golf tournaments and all types of different things where we can just engage in the sports space. Most recently, we've been blessed last 2 years to do a couple of conferences where we brought in leaders from sport all over the country and let them share about ethics and leadership and how we can serve better as leaders by being educated in ethics to make good decisions in hard moments. And so we've had some young leaders come and some more polished leaders come. And so it's been a blessing, man, to watch God use it and to watch the opportunity to serve through our family's passion to make a difference in our faith. So that's been what our foundation has been. I appreciate you two asking about it. And we're excited about the work we're doing now. And DC Arendis, who played baseball at South Carolina, we overlapped. He is kind of championing the cause now for our foundation, which has been great. And watching him grow and make a difference through his gifts has been awesome.
Well, Jack, thank you so much again for coming on our podcast today. As we said, we know you're busy, and to take time out of your day really means a lot to us. We appreciate it.
Well, let me before we go, man, let me get y'all's prediction, man. Let's go. Let's see. See y'all big Philly guys. Oh, well, give me the best cheesesteak place. Coming to
That's a
Philly,
controversial
you got a
question.
cheesesteak? Huh?
I like D'Alessandro's. It's sort of it's not really directly in center city. It's on like sort of the outskirts of the city, but D'Alessandro's is I'm a big fan. That's my favorite cheesesteak place.
I mean, it might sound like a tourist place, but I really like Pat's. I think it's probably the best in the city. I know you're coming here next year or potentially because the Texans play the Eagles. You got to check out Pat's, and D'Alessandro's is also great. You got to just do the whole
Okay.
tour of the city.
That's great. No, that's great. So what's favorite guest so far? I've been doing this 2 years. You've been doing awesome.
Thank you.
We
Or
had
any surprising guests, so you don't have to pick a favorite. Anybody you were like, that was cool.
I think Mike Ditka was probably like the craziest one that we got.
yeah, we also did Pete Rose, which I liked a lot.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Those are two great. Those are two legends, man. Those
And
are
Jack
two legends.
Easterby, of course.
Oh yeah. You got to answer that. Well, hey guys, let me tell you something. Just keep up the good work and what you're doing, what you're about. It's awesome to see y'all's minds think. It's obviously both of you are really gifted and, can keep making a difference through being positive in sports and using just that curiosity that both of you have to keep growing as people, and look forward to hearing from you. You guys reach out anytime.
Thank you so much. Enjoy
Thank
Indy.
you so much.
Okay, guys.